The new world order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. Now, I've been hollering at y'all about signing this petition. Get Donald Trump off Twitter. That's on change.org for the longest. You know what I'm saying? You can find the link in the video description if you're watching this video on YouTube, right? Or go straight to change.org. Now, it's been about getting him off Twitter because the man is so fucking dangerous. And then he goes on, even today, to after time and time again already doing mad shit to make everybody feel like they in a hot seat all at one time from a fucking Twitter account. Decides to go on to say that he's shutting down all his immigration by executive order via Twitter. No legal basis provided for what's going on, what even allows him to do that or whatever. But nevertheless, he's doing this in response to the pandemic. 171,000 deceased due to the coronavirus worldwide, 2.5 million confirmed cases, and in the U.S., 41,000 confirmed dead, and we are at nearing 800,000 confirmed cases. Green War on graduation. The new world order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So you got some governors around the country that are trying to reopen their states for business amid this global coronavirus disease pandemic, and amid a lot of the countries shutting down, most of the country shutting down due to it. Over in Georgia, the Republican governor there, Brian Kemp, actually said that they're gonna reopen their by Friday their hair and nail salons, tattoo parlors, spas, and gyms by Friday. And on Monday, they're going to actually open up movie theaters and restaurants. Now, I thought this was interesting, but the Atlanta mayor, Lakeisha Lance Bottoms, actually said that she wasn't notified about this and that they're still seeing a rise in fatalities. Brian Kemp even acknowledged that they're going to see a rise in, they're likely to see a rise in COVID-19 cases, but you know, we're better prepared for it now. We have enough of a bed capacity in the hospitals. Like, what kind of shit is that? Van Johnson, the mayor of Savannah, Georgia, actually said that they lack testing, and they haven't seen the 14-day decline in cases as was recommended to them before they start opening shit back up. You have Tennessee and Ohio saying they're opening their states back up on May 1st. And Henry McAllister, governor of South Carolina, actually said they're opening up their beaches, some like department stores and some retail stores by today. So people really trying to move forward. Yesterday you saw a lot of protests around the country for going against these announced shutdowns. The top doctor on this COVID-19 shit, Dr. Anthony Fauci, basically said that that's just gonna backfire, and then anything, all of these public gatherings is gonna cause a spike in COVID-19 cases. We'll see what this turns out to be though. Green War on graduation. The new world order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So Massachusetts is actually becoming a COVID-19 hotspot. They're actually expected to reach a death toll of over 2,000 this week, with 40,000 confirmed coronavirus disease 2019 cases. You know, the SARS-CoV-2, you know, that Rona. Make sure you check out Rona, BFN World Broadcast number 17. The link is in the Black Files News Instagram bio. It's the first video on the Black Files News YouTube channel page. Or you can also go to blackfilesnews.com/broadcast. Now, with the Boston Globe actually printed out on day before yesterday, on Sunday, an article showing a list of people who have actually died, and it was more than double. It took 16 pages to show how many people had died, and this was more than double what that amount was the same time last year. So obviously a spike in deaths due to COVID-19, man. Some shit gotta happen. Green War on graduation. The new world order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So over in New York, this is the epicenter of the COVID-19 outbreak in the United States, which is the global epicenter, right? Meaning that it's the place where that's actually having the most, they're spreading the most COVID-19 cases, right? But we're in at a quarter million confirmed cases in the state. That's a lot. But they actually have been seeing declining numbers. I mean, for the first time since April 2nd, they actually had a daily death toll that was below 500. Nevertheless, their total number of deaths due to COVID-19 is still over 19,000, the largest in the U.S. by far, larger than most of these countries out here, and their confirmed death tolls from the disease. Now, the New York State Nurses Association is actually suing the New York Department of Health and 2 hospitals for lack of protection in the beginning of the outbreak. You had Judy Sheridan Gonzalez, the president of the Nurses Association, basically saying that the hospitals were compliant with the state in expanding their capacity, but they didn't expand their staffing, and it only led to there being more unnecessary deaths. If you have a nurse that could only treat 1 or 2 critically ill patients, and then is left to deal with 5 or 6, that's 4 or 5 people that's gonna die. You know what I mean? Green Wall and Graduation. The world go to Bishop Grady let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So the MTA in New York, the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, they're actually planning on hiring 350 more police to actually monitor these subway stations, when the reality is they're actually seeing an $8 billion loss in revenue due to the lack of riders that they're experiencing. Yeah, so why are they buffing up on police force? And we know that black and brown people are the most targeted by police when it comes to like fare evasion or just anything, you know what I'm saying, in the U.S. But nevertheless, you're talking about the MTA now asking for an additional $4 billion after they've received $3.8 billion from that $2.2 trillion economic relief fund stimulus coronavirus package. Nevertheless, you're talking about 79 MTA workers who've actually died from in deaths attributed to COVID-19 since this pandemic began. Thousands affected. Green Wall and Graduation. Of the world, though, the Bishop Grady let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So a California federal judge, Jesus Bernard, actually has ordered ICE being Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the immigration police essentially, to look over all of the immigration cases and basically make sure that they work on releasing the prisoners that are more susceptible to actually contracting COVID-19. So this order actually cites people that are prisoners that are over 55, pregnant women, and as well as you're talking about people with chronic health conditions or whatever that are in immigration jail. Currently, there are 31,000 immigration prisoners in the United States, with right now 220 confirmed COVID-19 cases. So this dude basically says like there's been system-wide inaction regarding releasing prisoners amid this pandemic, which is the way to really like mitigate the spread. Honestly, you don't want people inside cages just passing around to each other. Then just to go out in the world and then pass it out to more people. Green Wall and Graduation. In the world, though, the Bishop Grady let y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So ahead of a major Supreme Court case with Trump challenging DACA, DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, basically allowing people who were brought here as kids, migrated into the country as kids or whatever, to basically be allowed to be here, you know what I'm saying, just because their parents was violent and trying to, not wilding, but trying to arm and document, doesn't mean that the kids don't have an opportunity to be documented and to actually sustain a respectable living for themselves, you know what I'm saying, on this planet Earth, in the United States, supposedly a free country. Nevertheless, ahead of this, the Supreme Court actually said they're going to consider the fact that DACA recipients have actually been crucial in addressing the coronavirus disease outbreak. You have 27,000 DACA workers that are healthcare workers. You know what I'm saying? So to remove DACA or to end that system would actually cause a public health crisis in the United States. Green Wall and Graduation. Of the world, though, the Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Fox News Report. So the Treasury Department actually announced that they are going to provide $3 billion to the airline industries for payroll support. Meanwhile, you have the LA Times reporting that at least like 15 flight attendants that actually died from COVID-19 during like a 9-day period earlier this month. But there's no like real tracking mechanism of COVID-19, so the number could be even higher than that. Nevertheless, you're talking about flight attendants complaining that they had to work under the conditions where they weren't even allowed to wear masks in the beginning and all of that or whatever, and they were kept in the dark about workers who had contracted COVID-19. So they're definitely worried as well. They want some protections, and I guess like you have flight companies that didn't want to scare the people, so they didn't want their attendants wearing masks. And now you got some of them dying. Green War on graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So Jeremy Hyken, the president of the Unite Here local union that actually represents Disney World workers in Florida, basically told the Hollywood Reporter, Florida's on the verge of a humanitarian crisis. This is a system that's designed to fail, and now they're going to let go 100,000 employees, people who can't feed their, can't feed their kids now or whatever. Like, they're gonna stop paying them. Like, what are they supposed to wait for checks from the Governor DeSantis to come through? Like, so that shows you the despair going on off of a decision of Disney to stop paying 100,000 workers, nearly half of their workforce. They're still gonna have like their executive plans, bonus plans, and $1.5 billion dividend being a pot that basically a lot of like the office workers and people who have like their stocks and 401ks and shit with the company or whatever could dig from, right? Nevertheless, that the CEO Bob Chapek actually said he's only going to take half of his $2.5 million base pay for the virus, but it's estimated that he makes about like 25 M's a year from bonuses and a long-term incentive program. Keep in mind that Bob Iger, the former CEO, last year made 47.5 M's and is worth 690 M's total. So it's a lot of money circulating over there that they're deciding not to give to their employees and making sure that they stay loyal. I guess they cool with them revolving doors. Probably replacing niggas with robots anyway, let's be real. Green War on graduation. New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. Now, I've been telling y'all about one of the biggest hotspots for COVID-19 in the United States. On the state level, yeah, it's New York, but as far as like a single place, the Smithfield Foods pork processing plant in South Dakota. Now, this plant has actually officially been closed after 350 employees had actually tested positive for COVID-19. Finally, you know what I'm saying? Because I was telling y'all about it when numbers were smaller than that. A total of 700 people in that area have actually contracted COVID-19, either working at the plant or related to somebody who worked at the plant. So shit is real on that front. And while their spokesperson, media believes like the spokesperson for Smithfield was like basically saying like they're blaming it on immigrants, basically, different cultures and their living circumstances and all of that. But there's a lot of employees, investigators that are saying like, no, it's definitely because there was some clear missteps, like not notifying people with, concealing infections and not letting people work with PPE, personal protective equipment. Over in Michigan, man, rest in peace, Skylar Herbert. This is Michigan's youngest COVID-19 fatality. 5-year-old daughter of 2 first responders who actually had spent 2 weeks on a ventilator from rare complication that caused the brain to swell and died from COVID-19. Green War on graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So you have Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus. This is the director of the World Health Organization, as warning countries for lifting their restrictions that came from COVID-19 and trying to protect their people from the pandemic, essentially. So lifting lockdown restrictions, we feel like could have catastrophic effects, and that the worst is ahead of us. So ending a lockdown doesn't mean that it's the end of the epidemic in that area. This comes as over in the United Kingdom, Britain is actually saying that Britain actually has 16,000 COVID-19 deaths. And their death toll is actually said to have gone up by 40% from the earlier hospital-only deaths that were reported earlier this month. Over in, you actually saw France become the 4th country to surpass the death toll due to COVID-19. It surpassed 20,000 deaths. And over in the Philippines, Rodrigo Duterte, the president, actually threatened their people with martial law to, make sure they adhere to the national lockdown rules or whatever. 120,000 people have either been arrested or given some sort of warning in regards to the curfew out there. And this is after Duterte already gave the green light for officers to basically shoot and kill people who are going against lockdown orders. Green War on graduation. For the New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. There are genuine fears that the United States is actually spreading COVID-19 beyond its borders with its immigration policies. You have at the Mexico border city of Nuevo Laredo, you actually have 14 asylum seekers tested positive after coming in contact with a man that was deported from the United States with COVID-19. There are 3 immigrants that were actually deported to Haiti that had tested positive for COVID-19. In other news, though, you actually over in North Korea, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. People feel like, CNN has actually reported that this man is in grave danger. This is the leader of that country. He's actually in grave danger due to what South Korean media actually says was a heart surgery. You know what I mean? But there were raised concerns about his health after he did not appear for a celebration of his grandfather and the state founder, Kim Il-sung. So, Green War and graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So after 3 national elections in Israel and a political stalemate where neither person actually received enough votes to claim to be the prime minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, the former and current prime minister, and Benny Gantz, his political opponent, actually have agreed, and they signed yesterday for to a power sharing agreement, basically an emergency government to deal with this COVID-19 coronavirus. Now, Benny Gantz has previously said that he's not going to work with Netanyahu because Netanyahu before was talking about having a power sharing deal. Netanyahu is currently under indictment for 3 corruption charges, where the trials for these have actually been postponed. One of the first trials has actually been postponed till next month due to the coronavirus disease outbreak. We'll see how this shit turns out. People have been warning Benny Gantz not to form a power sharing agreement with Benjamin Netanyahu, and it seems like, damn, he didn't win the election. He's under trial, or he's under corruption criminal charges or whatever, and he's still the prime minister. Green War on graduation. The New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So over in Hong Kong, you have activists that are worried, and they feel like the Hong Kong police are actually using the coronavirus disease outbreak as cover to basically jail activists, where they made this massive arrest of 15 activists this past Saturday, including Lee Chiak-yang, who's a former politician and legislator, media tycoon Jimmy Lai, and also Martin Lee, who's the founder of the Democratic Party out there. Now, this comes as it turns out that they've arrested over 7,000 activists and protesters in relation to last year's massive anti-government protests that were triggered by the extradition rule that was set in place, where they were going to anybody who caught a criminal charge in Hong Kong would be extradited to China. And you don't want to go to jail in China, you dig what I'm saying? But that has since been dropped, but it's still looking like a major crackdown disguised as a coronavirus pandemic protection. Green War and graduation. New World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So for the first time ever yesterday, the oil price dropped below $0. Now, this is historic. This has never happened before. This is done partially because there's been a crazy drop in demand for gas since this coronavirus disease 2019 outbreak, the SARS-CoV-2, that Rona. Now, it's also in part because of the price wars going on between like Saudi Arabia and Russia and them getting out of OPEC and all of that shit. Nevertheless, it's ironic that this happens on the 10th anniversary of the BP oil spill, or the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, the largest oil spill in U.S. history, releasing 200 million gallons of oil into the Gulf of Mexico, actually killing 11 people and tens of thousands of wildlife. So, you know what I mean? Crazy. It's a crazy turnaround. Who would have thought that this would happen on the 10th anniversary? You know what I'm saying? Green War on graduation. That's God talking. The World Order, Bishop Grady letting y'all know what the fuck going on for this Black Files News Report. So We are a day ahead of the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. But let's keep it real. I mean, y'all seen my Black Fox News, green Earth Day hoodie. And make sure you check that out at blackfoxnews.com/shop. Even scroll through the previous BFN reports to see what I'm talking about. Nevertheless, every day should be Earth Day. You know what I'm saying? So get you a sweater like that every day and support the movement. BFN.com/shop. Link in the video description if you watch this on YouTube. But over in New York, they're celebrating differently, where the New York City Council actually came to a resolution to divest from financial institutions that are still dealing with the fossil fuel industry. So targeted companies like BlackRock, Liberty Mutual, JP Morgan Chase are actually targeted by the resolution. This was brought about by a lot of campaigning that's been going on, including the Stop the Money Pipeline campaign as well. This organization is backing it. So this comes as Reuters earlier this month reported that Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, and these companies are actually going to seize their oil and gas assets due to these companies actually trying to get their money back from this big drop in oil prices in the oil economy. So we'll see how this turns out, man. They could be setting a precedent for something real that may be happening around the world, where people are just divesting from the fossil fuel industry. It don't look good, y'all. And it's Earth Day, man, or we day before Earth Day, respect it. We ain't war on graduation.